Good afternoon, folks. I'm Sean in Alaska, and welcome. Glad to have you guys here. Let me get the banner going right off the bat here. Welcome all. We hit 54 degrees yesterday, and that was the warmest temperature since last October. So 7 months of temperatures below 54 degrees. The sun's rising at about 6 o'clock in the morning now. At least that's what it was this morning. It's setting just after 10 p.m. So we get about 18 hours of daylight every single day here in Alaska. In my part of Alaska, it's super, super awesome. Spring's here. I'm loving it. I'm loving every part of it. Even if we get snow from this point out, it's not going to last. With that said, what I like to do is I like to say hello to everyone. So if you leave a comment, I'm going to say hello to you. If you've got a question, or you just want to throw something out there, by all means, feel free to do so. If I miss your question, do me a favor and leave it again in caps so I make sure not to miss it the second time. If I have already answered it, don't worry about it. I'll skip right over it. Just make sure that you ask it enough times to get an answer. With that said, Art from Deep South Alabama, good to see you, brother. Glad you can make it. You're driving at 3 a.m., but you'll be listening. Awesome to have you here any way that I can. Joseph Padoni, how are you, my friend? Good to see you. Happy Sunday to you as well. Scotty's Backyard Barbecue. Scotty's Grilling Brats. He'll pop in when he can. Scotty's awesome because if you don't follow Scotty, you should, because he's got some great videos on grilling. Great videos. So he always asks, like, when he runs out of ideas, he'll ask on his Facebook page, hey, what do you guys want me to make next week? And you get all these crazy freaking answers. And my answer was, just make some good old-fashioned chicken on the barbecue, Scotty. Just some good old-fashioned chicken. And that's what he did. So I'll be watching that video when we're done with the live today. Maryland Place, it is awesome to see you. Glad you can make it today. Nanny Goat Acres, welcome. Good to see you. Peanut Trucker, what's happening, my friend? Jonathan Davis, good to see you as well. Robert, a curmudgeon, working in the barn, so he's listening to the live. Awesome, Robert. Glad to have you here any way I can. Mark Davison, good to see you. Built on the Rock Homestead, how are you doing today? Steve Grounds, what's happening, my friend? Matt AK, what's happening? Good to see you. Kristen, the other half of that Matt or Steve and Kristen group. It's 94 in Arizona. Can't be in the pool because it's only 58 degrees. I'd be in the pool anyway. I wouldn't care. It's 44 degrees here today. I don't think we're going to hit 50 today, but I had planned on doing this live outside because it was so nice yesterday while I was out there working. But it just overcast came in, and so we're not getting any rain, but it just was gloomy looking. I figured I'd do it inside today. Genova, glad you could make it again. Good to see you. Built on the Rock Homestead. Sean, can you take your winter back? Woke up to the 40s here in Texas. That's crazy cold for April. That's nuts, man, especially with Arizona next door and, well, a couple of states next door, and they're 90-something degrees, and you're 44. Wow. Nuts. Alaska Uncut. Hey, everyone, getting your chickens and turkeys soon. Can't wait. That's awesome. You're going to love that. My chickens are entertainment beyond belief. I thought about going with turkeys, but I don't really know what I would do with turkeys. And from everything I've heard, they're nasty, dirty animals. So I'm going to hold off on turkeys for a while. PTL Fabrication, how are you doing today? I've done a lot of work. It's crazy because sometimes it doesn't seem like I've gotten much done. And then I go back and I watch a video of what I did, and I go, well, I got a lot more done than I thought I did. I got a lot done. Basically, the video next week is going to be pretty much everything I did in one day. I got a lot done yesterday. I was really happy with it. But yeah, and talking about some future plans, but it blows my mind sometimes. Blueberry Bog, how are you doing today? 70 and raining in Southeast Georgia. Taking it easy today. Nice. Sundays are a good day to take it easy, right? And I agree with Robert. No, Built on the Rock. You can have it. We don't want it back. John Feeney, what's happening, my friend? It is good to see you today. Good afternoon from Louisiana. Awesome to have you here today as well. Ann O'Brien in Ireland, welcome. Good to see you. From the sunny southeast coast, or from the sunny southeast of Ireland. Awesome to have you here today. I hope you're doing well as well. And Marilyn made this comment. I saw it afterwards, so I thought I would speak to it. Always here, but don't chat much. Don't feel obligated to have to say anything in the chat. If you just want to hang out and listen to this knucklehead talk or read the comments on the side, that is fine too, because this is just an awesome thing on Sundays for an hour where everybody just kind of hangs out. And a lot of times, if you have questions, the side chat, the folks there on the side, are more than happy to answer it for you. They probably know a lot more about some stuff than I do. Big Family Expedition, welcome. Glad to have you here today. Got the AC installed in the back window on Wednesday. I've already used it. This is the morning. Had to plug the heater back in. That's crazy, right? That's crazy. Thank you for that, Robert. This is true. So the thumbs up does greatly help the channel whenever you watch a video. Whenever I'm live, especially when I'm live, that thumbs up makes a big difference because it suggests the more of those I get, it suggests to more people that may just be surfing YouTube that have never seen the channel before. So it suggests it out even more. I greatly appreciate that. Robert, you hit 61 today. Yeah, you're usually warmer than I am. You are. I'm on the peninsula, so. Mike McKinley, how you doing, my friend? Doing fantastic. Thank you for asking. The porch temp sensor said 80 in the shade. Wow, that's crazy warm. Destiny Fitzgerald, how are you doing today? Windy is that we had wind Friday. We had a pretty windy day. Saturday, yesterday wasn't too bad. And then today it's really, really still, really calm out there. Angie, it's the Angie and Beamer show. How you doing, Angie? Sean, what's on the menu for dinner? You need an idea. I'm thinking I might drive to town after work and go pick up some chicken and throw some chicken on the grill. That's what I'm kind of thinking. Chicken on the grill, just because it's an easy meal and I can eat it for the next couple of days because I love cold chicken. But that's kind of what I'm thinking. I don't know. I'm not going to get too fancy. With the temperature going up, it's getting harder and harder to keep fresh food fresh here. So I'm going to have to figure out a solution for a battery bank so that I could get refrigeration in the cabin. It just makes it a whole lot easier, especially with the trailer going away. I was using that refrigerator and freezer last year. It would be nice to have something inside. So yeah, we're thinking probably chicken or pork chops, one of the two. Pork chops are my go-to. Alaska Freedom, what's happening? It's great to see you guys. These guys are awesome. So they just started a YouTube channel up here, and they just started their project up here. And I got to have lunch with them both. Super nice people. And you guys need to get on board with that. So if I have an op in here, they can go ahead and share the link for their channel. They bought a piece of property. They are shoveling away, clearing snow so that they can start building. They're going to live in a tent to begin with. It's going to be an awesome adventure from the ground up. Super nice people, so check them out. Sunshine, what's happening? How's Kenai today? Ooh, 424. I know, I saw it was going up. Right? Never fails. Never fails. Death and taxes and gas prices, they all go up. Fat Man, what's happening? Fat Man Prepper, how you doing? I was going to start cleaning and then started the first run of freeze dryer, but then since Sean Alaska decided to go live, nice. I appreciate that, man. I did, Angie, but it doesn't matter. We're done. It loses. When we have this much daylight, it can't stay. So it could just do it and then be gone the next day. Just to mess with people. JD, what's happening, brother? It is great to see you. I hope you and Ron are doing well. True Blue Aussie. Lisa W., awesome to have you. It's 42 degrees Fahrenheit, 6 Celsius centigrade. That's right, because it's your winter when it's our summer up here. 6 a.m. Monday morning in Melbourne, Australia. Awesome. Well, welcome. Glad to have you here. Josh, what's happening, my friend? Good to see you. Making breakfast for dinner. That's always a good call, man. Breakfast for dinner. There's nothing ever wrong with breakfast for dinner. Doyle Lindsay, good to see you, my friend, from Murray, Kentucky. Awesome to have you here today. The man, the myth, the legend, Canadian. What's happening, Jerry? Good to see you. Well, you got a third of an inch of rain on the rain gauge yesterday. That's good because, you know, that's a nice little soaking, a third of an inch. That's not too much, but it's enough to get everything wet again and keep everything growing. I am too, Mike. It's pretty exciting. It's pretty exciting seeing the numbers going up. I like it a lot, both the temperature and subscribers. It's super awesome. Michael Roos, how are you doing today? From Barefoot Acres. Nice. Awesome, my friend. Oh, you put LA and I thought it was Louisiana, but it's Lower Alabama. Okay, I'll figure that out. Yum. I'm eating apple pie at the moment. Just thought you should know. With or without cheddar cheese? Are you a cheddar person on your apple pie? Because I am. But are you? Okay, I have a question for you. What are you doing with the what am I doing with the cabinets that are empty? The cabinets there, the cabinets in the trailer. Clear that up for me and I'll answer it. I don't know exactly where you're going with that. Mississippi meatballs in the crock pot, Mississippi pot roast, but meatball version. That sounds pretty yummy because Mississippi pot roast is freaking delicious. It is absolutely delicious. So I got to think Mississippi meatballs would be even just as good. There you go, right there, and right there for the Alaskan Freedom Channel. Check them out. They're awesome folks. They're nice people. They're really nice people. Hey, Sean, how's the cough? My daughter was sick and she was left with a cough, and doctor called it the 100-day cough. Go figure. I occasionally I'm still hacking every now and then, but it's pretty much gone. Pretty much gone completely now. I feel much better actually than I did before I got sick. So maybe I was due. I have some large flattish rocks I need moved. They want to come move them for me. If they wound up in your truck, it's okay. Matt, really? Cheddar on apple pie? How's that even a thing? Oh, if you have not tried it, my friend, you need to try it. Thinly sliced sharp cheddar cheese on warm apple or hot apple pie. Yeah, I'm telling you. Greg, welcome, my friend. Always nice to get a lot done in a day. Makes you feel pretty good. It does. It made me feel like I accomplished something, it was all outdoor work. So I accomplished something outside for the first time this year, really, and it felt really good. Brady G, welcome, my friend. Good to see you. I'm doing well. Thank you for joining me today. All right, here we go. In the cabin, on the very end of the counter, I see you have two shelves, but the end ones are empty. Oh, okay. So if you're talking about, right, you have a cabinet box and a cabinet box side by side in the middle, and then you have the open spaces on the both sides. If you're talking about what am I going to do with those, I'm going to block them off. They're going to be nothing. There will be no storage whatsoever, because my philosophy is that if I put anything all the way back in a cabinet in a corner that can't be accessed by opening a door, I'll never use it. And if I'll never use it, I don't need anything stored back there. So yeah, that'll be completely blocked off and there'll be nothing stored in there at all. Nope. And Steve was asking the same question. Yeah, so that's the plan. So on both ends, I don't know if I can, I don't want to turn the camera. The kitchen's dirty. So on both ends, there's an open area that you can see underneath the counter where there's no cabinets. Those will have nothing in them. They'll be blocked off completely. Mark Cottrell, what's happening, brother? Good to see you. Matt says, I picked up a cough after my February Alaska trip this year, and it still hasn't gone away yet. Yeah, I don't know. It's just a lingering one. It just lasts forever. Scotty, nice to be indoors, right? It is. Right, here we go. I'm with you, Matt. He lost me on that one. Maybe the cheese has finally slid off his cracker. First of all, life is cheese, right? I'm not a soft cheese guy, so I don't like the Bries or the Camemberts but if it's a hard cheese, if you can cut that, slice it with a knife, I will eat any of it. It's just delicious. But if you have not tried cheddar cheese with apple pie, you need to try it. You can hate it after that and then tell me you hated it, but you got to try it at least. It'll blow your mind. If you like it, it'll blow your mind. P&J's, what's happening? Great to see you. Happy Sunday to you as well. Michael Roos, 4 weeks till planting time. I got 5 flats started indoors under the grow lights. May 20th is your last frost date there in Goodrich, Michigan. There's that cough. So the thumbnail that I shared for this live, and I always try and take a different thumbnail for the live, is the tray of yellow onions that I started, and I'm doing them really, really weird this year. I'm going to try something completely different with them because I've really never had success with onions. I'm not experienced as an onion grower other than green onions, but that was all of the onions starting to sprout up. And then when I looked at the red onions, I'm seeing some that are starting to pop up on that as well. I've got more pumpkins that came up, all my zucchinis up, all my leeks are up. I've got more acorn squash that's coming up now. But I'm still a month and a half, at least 6 weeks, maybe 8 weeks away from being able to put anything into the ground because the ground's still too cold. So even though I'm gonna kind of do raised beds, think of how Simple Living Alaska did their garden, their first one at their first place, where they just brought in soil and built up the beds. That's kind of what I'm gonna do. It's still too cold. I don't know if I dare try it because I didn't get to eat ice cream with my apple pie. I don't like ice cream with my pie. I like ice cream with my ice cream. I know they do have swinging shelves for access, but again, it's the same philosophy. And people have, and I'm guilty of this. So I'm gonna say it from my point of view. Sean had too much stuff before he moved to Alaska. And I'm not a single purpose appliance or tool, generally speaking, purchaser. Tools kind of I've had to for a couple of different things, but I'm just a firm believer that if you got to shove something that far back in the cupboard, how often are you really using it? Well, then you don't need to own it. And if you don't need to own it, you don't need to shove it that far back in the cupboard. Um, I think that people can get by, Sean can get by with a lot less than he ever got by with before. And it's a lot easier to keep everything clean when you do it that way. PJ Panda, welcome. Good to see you. Ask Eric and Ariel, that useless corner cabinet is for the potato storage. That might not be a bad idea. I like that. I forgot that they did that. That might not be a bad idea. I could put a dummy door with some shelves in there, and they wouldn't have to be fancy at all because nobody will ever see them. But that right there, that is a great idea. So yeah, you know what? Maybe you just changed my mind on that. That's true. Good call. Is it warm enough to take the stream out on the deck? It would be. It's not bad. I mean, it's not that bad out there, but the chickens are louder than heck today. They're just yelling and screaming for no reason whatsoever. And I'll probably do it next weekend. Let's plan on me trying to go outside next weekend. My Alaska, what's happening, my friend? It is good to see you. Yeah, Mike, that one knocked me for a loop. I haven't been that sick in a while, and then the nagging cough was the most frustrating part. But I've been pounding vitamin C to try and get rid of anything I had. Right? Give it a try. You'll like it. And don't use the shredded. Get some good cheddar, some good sharp and nice thin slice, and put it on top of there. I think you'll be surprised. You'll like it. That's crazy. 7:05. So I watch a lot of YouTube and I watch a lot of TikTok when I'm bored. I don't know how much longer I'm actually going to keep the TikTok account because sometimes it frustrates me. But I've been seeing the prices of stuff in Canada and my mind is blown. It is crazy how expensive it is in Canada right now. It is absolutely ridiculous. And that's coming from somebody who lives in Alaska. It's cheaper in Alaska than anywhere I've seen in Canada. It's nuts. 7.05 a gallon for gas. They're not even paying that in California. That's crazy. Mom always said life is like a slice of cheese. I think Mama was into the devil's lettuce too much. Old school Alaska, welcome, my friend. Just glad to see you today. CK, glad you can make it. Awesome to have you here. Do you like ice cream with your Pepsi? No, but I do like ice cream with root beer. There's nothing like a good old-fashioned root beer float, man. Come on, really? And I grew up on mug root beer. That was my dad's favorite one, was mug root beer. I've tried some of the fancier ones, but and I always go back to mug. Occasionally Hires, but if A&W is around and I can actually get it at A&W, then it's A&W. Not the can, not the bottle, but only if I'm getting it at A&W. Rudy, welcome. Could you use that space for a trash can? I could, but now we've decided that it's going to be potato storage through the winter. The only problem is that I'm going to have a cabinet butted up to both sides where that space is going to be. So I can put, like I said, I could put a fake door or no door at all on that side, no wall at all on that side of the cabinet, right? And then you could go in there and you could just stash your potatoes back in that corner. So if I were to do a trash cabinet or a trash can there, it wouldn't work because it would be there'd be no way to access it. I use a lot of gadgets in the kitchen, but not the big stuff, right? So I'm off grid, so I don't have a rice cooker, I don't have an Instapot, I don't have a crock pot, I don't have any of the electrical appliances that you would have in a kitchen. So everything that I have has to be used on a stovetop or in the oven. And when that is what you have to cook with, and you don't have the electrical to run all the other stuff, the amount of stuff that you have in your kitchen drops drastically. Now, I have a lot of little gadgets, hand tools and stuff like that I use that are completely one use items that are great. But those all store very easily in a drawer, right? They don't need a shelf to hide them. So yeah, I don't have the electrical kitchen appliances at all. I don't have a toaster. I don't have anything. Is there any variety of lettuce that does well in your area? I'll be retiring to Anchor Point in a couple of years and want a garden as well. Lettuce does very well up here. Yeah, you can grow pretty much any kind of lettuce up here. Artichokes, if you're going to be down towards Anchor Point, I know people have success with artichokes and Homer. Asparagus does well. Spinach does well. There's a couple of varieties that are not as prone to bolting up here that come from. So look up. Oh, I'm drawing a blank. I hate when I do that. The cooperative, the Alaska Cooperative Extension, and it's via the University of Alaska at Fairbanks, UAF. And they have a huge gardening program. And then they have the extension outlets all around the state where you could get lists of stuff that do very well in different parts of Alaska. And then they're always trying new stuff. Like right now, I think they have a hazelnut tree that they've been playing with for the last few years to grow hazelnuts up here in Alaska, which would be awesome because I love some hazelnuts. So that would be fantastic. But yeah, you could grow lettuce up here very easily. Ward, what's up, brother? John's asking if I've if I have broke out the kilt yet. Next week, all kilt, all Sean. It's actually sitting right on the back of the couch over there because I've been wearing it pretty much exclusively for the last week. Temperature here in Willow is 49 degrees currently and sunny. Man, I wish we had the sun because if we had the sun, we'd be over 50 again today. I know we would. But we're overcast. Yeah, we've got a lot of overcast going on down here. Selena, welcome. One of the empty sections can be for the propane tank for my stove. Well, I have a plan for that too because I'm going to have more than one propane appliance. So I'm going to have the propane stove is going to go right here on this wall. And then I'm going to have a propane on-demand water heater so that I can shower and bathe in the house and have warm water in the sink. And then eventually I'm planning on putting in a propane heater that requires no electricity as well that I can set at a, say, 50-degree temperature so that during the winter when I'm at work, because I still work full time, and the wood stove burns down, that thing will kick on and keep the cabin warm enough so I don't freeze when I come into the cabin. Because this should be the last year that I've had to use a buddy heater at all in my cabin. I should be 100% on wood stove heat by midsummer of this year. I should have everything installed for that. The problem with putting anything underneath there is that once the other cabinets are butted up against it. So imagine this screen, right? And you're looking, right? Here is the cabinets on the wall. Well, there's going to be another cabinet that comes up against the end of this one, and there's going to be another cabinet that comes up against that one. So it will now block off those two holes. The propane I'm planning on running lines for because I'm going to run the main line that goes to the stove first and put a T in it, block it off. Because eventually I'm going to tee it off to where I plan on putting the propane heater and where I plan on putting the on-demand water heater. So I'm going to actually store those bottles at the front of the cabin for easy access in winter. And they're not going to be small bottles. They're going to be bigger. They're going to be the big 100-pound bottles. So that's the reason why I wouldn't store that propane bottle for the stove inside. I might to begin with. It depends on when the big ticket item arrives because it is on the way. But if I haven't got everything set up to use it, I'm going to want to be using that thing real quick. Matter of fact, I don't even know what I kind of have an idea what I'm going to make for my first meal in that stove. It's going to be more than likely Papa Murphy's Take and Bake Pizza. I just seen that Jay and Jen put up a video today. I'll be watching it after your live stream. Yeah, Jay and Jen are awesome. I love Jay and Jen. Nice people, and they always have good content. They always have great videos. Oh, your dad also only drinks mug root beer. Yeah, that was my dad's root beer of choice, man. Mug, that was it. Used to come in little stubby bottles, and I'll never forget whenever we'd go to do a drive-in movie when I was a kid. And now I'm dating myself because they don't even exist anymore. But we'd go see drive-in movies as kids, and Dad would always make sure he had barbecued potato chips and mug root beer. That was his snack. Yeah, this is true. This is true. But Can't sell any vehicles right now. The prices are ridiculous. Mike said the prices in Canada are sky high for everything, groceries, gas. I know. I saw grocery prices and I was blown away. I think I saw a package of cooked chicken that here in Alaska would have sold for like $5.99, right? For everyday price was like $20 in Canada. That's crazy. And I know there's a difference in the Canadian dollar to the US dollar, but it ain't that much. It's not a 75% difference. It was nuts. CK loves mug root beer. Nice. Big family expedition. I used to live in a town that had a drive-in that was famous for their marshmallow Pepsi. I'll be darned. Cool. Very cool. Yeah, drive-ins were a big thing when I was a kid. They were a ton of fun. Then when we got older and became teenagers, we always got in trouble at drive-ins. We always did stuff we shouldn't have done. No, but I like my sarsaparilla. I do like my sarsaparilla. And for the folks that don't know what that is the drink, the soda pop that won the West right there. Sarsaparilla is delicious. Yeah, right now I'm using the cast iron skillet. I have a cast iron griddle, but I'm waiting to put that on the actual stove. I don't want to put that on the camp stove. But yeah, I use a cast iron pan for making toast, and it works perfect. It's awesome. You just have to get that adjustment just right, or else you'll end up burning it. But the nice thing is when you're done with the first batch of toast and you throw the second batch of toast in, because I'm a 2-batch toast guy. I like toast. It right away, it starts heating up. You don't have to wait for anything. Wow. Petrol in Melbourne, Australia at the moment is $8.29 a gallon. Oh my gosh. I don't understand it. I don't understand how you can live with gasoline prices that high. I do not get it. I mean, I know that anytime the price of fuel in Alaska goes over $5, people are hurting bad. I mean, we have to drive a lot because, just for me to go back and forth to work every day is a 30-mile round trip. But I also know that when the price of fuel drops to 2 gallons or less in the United States, business explodes. Things go crazy because everybody's got more money. Got to go and pound a grounding rod so that I can get rid of my extension cord. It's nice. Ruby says, New Zealand spinach is the best I've ever grown. It grows great in the heat. We don't have the heat issue up here. We just have the long days. And I think that sometimes may cause the spinach itself to bolt. So I'm going to play with some spinach, I think, this year because I love fresh spinach. I have a garden full of lettuce that's bolted, waiting to collect the seeds. Yeah, and that's the problem with those leafy greens is that you get a lot of you get the warmer temperatures and they're going to bolt every time. Fat Man Prepper asks, just make sure your kilt is long enough to cover your tidbits at all times. That's true. That's good advice right there. You can make that cabinet with another cabinet as a corner cabinet and use a Lazy Susan. I thought about that, but I'm not going to have that much stuff to store inside of there. Cabinet, I still plan on, right? So I'm going to have 2 more boxes on this wall and a cabinet of drawers. And then on this wall, I'm going to have the cabinet with the kitchen sink in it, okay, on the inside wall. And then I'm still planning on putting a couple of uppers on the back wall. I don't think I'll have uppers anywhere else. That is more than I will ever need. And I have a plan for what I want to do at the center. But that is honestly more kitchen space than I will ever need. No, it's not a fridge. It almost was a fridge. I had a line on some batteries. I had a line on a battery with a sponsor. And so I was going to pull the trigger and get a fridge because this battery would have run the fridge for a couple of days. But then the sponsor backed out when they found out they had to ship it to Alaska. So, which is a bummer because it would have been a great thing to do. But it's not a fridge. Yeah, I saw that post. So she's heading over to Soldotna. She's picking up seed potatoes from 4T% Ranch, which is a local cattle ranch that we have here. He ranches. He has other stuff there besides cows. But he feeds his cows potatoes throughout the winter, right? High carbs. They love them. But he's got a bunch of potatoes, and right now he's letting everything go that he's got left over for $15 for a 50-pound bag of potatoes. And I'm going to probably head over myself after work tomorrow. I am thinking I'm definitely going to head over myself and get some. So Nanny Goat Acres brings up a Blaze King wood stove can last over 12 hours fully loaded. However, they are expensive. True, but not in Alaska. They won't last 12 hours. So a lot of that rating for a wood stove, and I didn't know about this until I started talking to local wood stove dealers, right? Because I was looking at something that would have an ungodly length of burn time. A lot of that ranking or measurements of how long a stove will burn is based on hardwood burning. So oak, almond, heavy, dense hardwoods that will put out a lot of heat. We don't really have hardwood like that up here in Alaska. We don't have the firewood that will actually burn for that long and emit and continually emit the BTUs like you do in the lower 48, the northern United States, where they have maple, they have all these different cherry wood and stuff. They have all these different species that are hardwoods that will put it out. So that 12-hour fully loaded stove, Blaze King up here, you're going to be lucky to get 6 to 8 hours out of. That's the honest to God's truth. Unless you're shipping wood in from the lower 48. You're not going to ever see burn times like that up here, I don't believe. From people who are in the business, that's what they've told me. And it makes a lot of sense because when I lived in the lower 48, I had a wood stove. And I had a Blaze King down there. Excuse me. And I knew the difference between burning pine and cedar and burning almond and walnut that were coming out of orchards that I was buying for hardwood. I would start the fire with maybe cedar because cedar ignites so easily. And so I'd start the fire with cedar. Then I'd, maybe throw some pine or some oak on there. But before I went to bed, I would top it off with the almond and walnut because I knew it would be hot coals in the morning when I got up. But we don't have that wood up here. I've seen, Brady, there's a few drive-in theaters still around. We don't have any in Alaska. Kind of makes sense because when it would be dark enough to go watch it, everybody would be sitting there with their car heaters on because it'd be too cold to watch a movie. Joseph, Sean, you did a great job on the cabinets and countertop. If I understand you correctly, your kitchen will be similar to a galley style. Yes, that's the plan. A galley style, just a simple U-shaped kitchen, easy access to everything. I grew up in bakeries and I grew up in commercial restaurants, and I like to have everything kind of like, they call it the work triangle. I like to have everything within one step of where I need it to be, and I think it'll be awesome when it's done. Warren is teaching in Neck. Grocery prices there are insane. $25 for half gallons of cream, $10 for milk, $25 for Kerrygold butter. Oh my gosh, that's nuts. That's nuts. Crazy. Oh, Greg's still got to drive in not too far from where he lives. Very nice. Ward Adams does not have a YouTube channel. I don't know that Ward will ever have a YouTube channel. I don't know that Ward could be allowed on YouTube. But he does show up in earlier videos, and occasionally on future videos of mine, you'll see Ward. Todd, welcome, my friend. Neighbor Todd's in Reno, Nevada this week. House is still fine, man. Everything looks good. Planted my lettuce last fall. Had fresh lettuce for salads all winter long. Nice. Yeah, see, you can do that. I can't do that here. Here in Ontario, Canada gas prices are $1.80 a liter. And that's, I don't know what it is. It's like 3.75 liters to a gallon or something like that. So that would be 1, 2, 3, 2, 4, 6. Yeah, it's still $7 a gallon. That's crazy. I mean, design that cabinet way for easier access for your potatoes. Oh yeah, no, that definitely. Now that I'm already thinking about how I would do that, I'm already trying to figure out, okay, how would I get it so that I could easily get in and out to get to those potatoes? Because I really, really like that idea. Speaking of waffles, you maybe buy 6 vintage cast iron waffle irons to restore. I love them, man. I saw they had one. I think you sent me the pictures of the one that you got. They had one that like has a base that sits up higher. And it was for sale on Facebook Marketplace, but they wanted like $300 for it. I go, man, not going to happen. But it was pretty cool. I'm going to look to get another one. That's a Belgian waffle maker. And what I really want is just a good old fashioned regular small hole waffle maker. But that Belgian waffle maker works great. Oh, you do? Okay, cool. You know what? Yeah, I need to talk to him. I need to find out what he's got beef wise, how he does that. Does he process or not? And that's probably a better conversation for offline as opposed to online. But I need to find out more about him because he seems like a great guy. Ginger Mast, welcome. Glad you can make it today. Okay, Robert says, not true on the Blaze Kings. If banked down right, you can get a long burn. We turned ours all the way down and went to town on Thursday, came back on Saturday, and still had embers. Wow. That's pretty phenomenal. I mean, because I'm just telling you what they told me at the stores, and it made sense. Because before I got the wood stove that I got, I was looking at just buying a brand new one. Before I ran into this one, and first of all, the prices were crazy, and the prices for the chimney pipe were ridiculous. But he was telling me, he goes, "You're not going to get the burn times that they advertise on these up here. You're not going to." And it was a Blaze King store too. That's crazy. Cecilia, it's great to see you. Awesome to have you. Yeah, he's the rich relations across the meadow. I live on the bad side of the tracks. Yeah, they've only got a couple of videos out, and they're both pretty awesome. They're neat. They're neat. I really like how he's editing his videos. I think it's a unique approach that I really am comfortable watching. Marunanda, how are you doing today? Greetings in Los Angeles from Funny River, Alaska. Great to see you. Kerrygold is $7 a pound here. I'll ship you 3 pounds. Okay, I'm going to probably say something that no one is going to agree with me here on. I can't stand Kerrygold butter. I think it's overpriced and it has no flavor whatsoever. I cannot believe that people will pay the price that they pay for that stuff. I'm a good old-fashioned American sweet cream butter fan. I love it. But I could never justify spending that much money on butter. It's $7. I buy my butter when it's on sale, and then I just fill the freezer. So I probably haven't paid more than $2.99 a pound for butter since I've been in Alaska, because when it goes on sale for that price, I just fill my freezer, or I've got a big chest freezer over at Will's, and I buy all the butter I need. But yeah, I could never. I don't like the flavor of Kerrygold butter. I don't think it has any flavor at all, and I could never pay that price for butter. Marketing, right? It's great marketing. Morton, welcome from Oslo, Norway. Awesome to have you here today. Melinda Campbell, a neighbor from Juneau. Awesome to have you here today. Warren is in Naknek. Awesome to have you here today. Yeah, your wife said you're up there teaching a class. Very cool. Yeah, the prices jumped drastically on it. And you're like me, Robert. I mean, I can live very comfortably in 60 degrees. It doesn't bother me at all. 60 degrees is I'll run around in bare feet in 60 degrees. 55 degrees inside when it's 20 below zero outside, that's fine. I don't have a problem with that at all. Some folks though like to have it 70 and 80 degrees, and that's expensive no matter how you look at it. You live on the bad side of the tracks. We live up the tracks. Smiley, it's awesome to see you, my friend. Glad you can make it today. Oh, geez, John. You sound like you're running for governor of Wisconsin, bashing Kerrygold. I'm not kidding when I tell you that when my brother and I were in Ireland, this was 2019. We were staying in Sligo. I forget the name of the hotel. It is like big mural on the side of it of James Joyce, because we were going into Leitrim to see the village we were from. So we stayed in Sligo because I really couldn't find a place to stay. It was the closest place to the village we're from, and I really couldn't find any place to stay in the village we were from. And we got off the train station right there and just walked to the hotel. But I'll never forget, I was eating breakfast, and I'd been in Ireland for about a week and a half, and I'm eating breakfast downstairs, and they had some of the most beautiful brown bread. Oh, I love a good brown soda bread. And they had just a beautiful sliced brown bread laying on the counter there. It was kind of a buffet style where you'd help yourself. And all the butter they had there was Kerrygold. And I grabbed the gal and I go, "You wouldn't happen to have any other butter, would you?" And she looked at me and she goes, "Were you wanting American butter?" And I said, "Yes." And she actually walked in back and got me American butter. I don't know what it is. I don't think it has any flavor whatsoever, and it's definitely not worth the money. It's crazy. One thing I'll miss when I move back to Alaska again is the local Cache Valley butter here. It's your favorite, right? There's a big for those that don't know, I manage a dairy department in a grocery store. So I see all these dairy items come through, and there's this um, Amish butter, they call it, but it's not Amish butter. It's just called Amish style butter, but it has a picture of a barn on it. Everybody thinks it's Amish butter, and it's in like this 2 pound block, which is awesome, you know. But again, the price is ridiculous. And I look at that and I go, man, that's marketing right there. Somebody got smart and just knows how to market better than I do. Right? I freeze my butter when I'm not using it, and I leave it when I'm using the cube. I leave it on the counter. It never goes in the refrigerator. So, and I've never had a problem. I've never lost butter in my life that way. Yeah, see, Ruby's the same way. It's probably because we grew up with one flavor, and they have grown up with something completely different in a flavor, and so it's got to be definitely it's a regional thing. I know it's a regional thing. Robert is referred to as an outlaw for living up the tracks. First-hand knowledge. Von Lowe, how are you doing today? The kitchen's looking awesome. Thank you very much. I greatly appreciate that. Kevin Wright, glad you can make it today, my friend, from Mount Pleasant, Michigan. The weather over here is overcast and probably about 45 degrees now. So not a lot of sunshine, but it's not raining, it's not snowing, it's not doing anything but being overcast, and I'm okay with that. Kyle 505, how you doing? Watching and researching new chainsaws. Nice. I'm a still guy. I have a Husqvarna that a viewer sent me, and it's a beautiful little saw. But that still saw that I have that's probably 20 years old is a tank. I mean, it's a tank. But it's a preference thing. You know, some folks really love Husky, some folks really love steel. And then there's other ones that are out there that I probably would never even consider. Of any chainsaws, those are the only two I would ever consider buying. But yeah, I'm a steel guy myself. Yeah, Philly cheesesteak. That's not a bad deal, my friend. That's a good meal right there. Extra onions, extra peppers. Yeah, I'll go for that. Right? Yeah. Kaylin, how are you doing? It is awesome to see you. Bounce back up here. Awesome to see you, Kaylin. Steve G in Maine. Good day to you, Sean. Hope you've seen your last flurry for a while. I do too. We're pretty much done with that. We don't need that anymore. BLR, how are you doing today? From Red Wing, Minnesota. Sunny day there. Nice. Nice. Yeah, Kyle's a steel fan also. I love steel saws, man. They're great saws. Madronanda says it's 82 degrees in Southern California right now. That's actually very nice weather for you guys down in LA. That is nice weather. Kevin says it's sunny and a little breezy there. Ah, see? Thin ribeye with mushroom and instant mash for me tonight. I was a big I did not care. I was never a fan of instant mashed potatoes growing up because, I'm Irish, and, mom would make potatoes and she'd just mash them by hand. And I still have a hand masher. I would never buy a ricer. I would always use a hand masher. But since the kids have been gone and I'm just cooking for myself, instant mashed potatoes are now the greatest invention that has ever existed. Because I can still get, if I don't want to go through the whole hassle of making mashed potatoes for one person, and trust me, it is a hassle. It's just easier to fry them up in a skillet than it is to go through the boil process, the mash process, the add, and keeping everything I need on hand to make them properly. Instant mashed potatoes are delicious. And I get the extra butter or the buttery ones. Oh my God, they're good. Yeah, Robert's got a good point here. I like any chainsaw that runs well. Because it's amazing. You can have the greatest brand new chainsaw that exists. And if it doesn't run well, right? You spend half your time working on it. Yep, exactly. Instant are great for those nights you do not want to do much. There's a lot of things that I don't have a problem with as far as instant food. And for those of you that have watched for a while, you know that food kind of plays a big part of stuff that I do on my channel. I'm always including it because we all eat. Right. And I share what I like to eat and how I like to eat it. And I make a lot of things from scratch. I mean, I'll bake, I'll cut apples for apple pie. I'll mix the dough by hand for, pie dough. I've made bread, and I'm hoping to get back into that again, for my own sourdough starters. And, uh, but if there's a shortcut that's good, I'm going to use the shortcut that's good. I don't have a problem with that at all. And they have come a long way with instant potatoes. They have come a long way with them. And, I don't care how out of date they are. I had a package the other day that I cooked up, and I go, what was the date on this anyway? Because I don't remember buying it. And it expired like 5 years ago. It was delicious. Homemade mashed potatoes with a little lump for you, just like Mom made. Nice. Yeah, I like them. I like them creamy, but if there's a chunk in there, it doesn't break my heart. I like to mash them down. I like to put butter in them, continually mash them down so you get that butter flavor through the whole thing, and then maybe a little bit of heavy cream in there. Mix it up a little bit more, but keep them nice and thick. Instant Idahoan potatoes are actually your favorite for some reason. The Idahoans are the ones I really like with, because I grew up eating, because it's what my dad grew up eating. His mom was from an Idaho farm. Yeah, that's the Idahoans are the ones that have the great, super cheap, and you mix them with water, right? And I think the other ones, they say you got to make them with milk, but I never have milk, and I always just use water as well when I'm making them. So I looked at the calendar before we went live here today. We've got 2 more lives, right? So we got next Sunday and the following Sunday after that, and then there'll be no more lives. More than likely, there will be no more scheduled lives until after October, when I'm back into the fall winter swing of things again, because it's going to be way too busy here this summer taking care of stuff. With that said, I said it last week and I'll say it again. There will be the occasional pop-up live, so it won't be scheduled. So just keep an eye. I'll try and give you a heads up, like a day's heads up notice if I can. But just got to keep your eyes peeled on the community page for when it's going to happen. And if you miss one, don't worry about it. I'm going to try and do a couple of them during the summer. I'd like to do some from the garden. I think it'd be kind of nice to be sitting out in the garden and do one. Hopefully the garden will do well. But yeah, that's kind of the plan going forward. So 2 more regularly scheduled lives next Sunday and the Sunday after that, and then might do a pop-up or 2 during the summer, and then we'll go live again with regularity, more than likely in around October. And for those that don't understand why I don't stay live all year long, 1, it's because I get way too busy to do stuff. But 2, during the summer here, there are so many people in my part of Alaska that the cell towers really get taxed. And even to upload video, I generally have to bring it to town and do it from the parking lot of the store that I work at. Because the signal just gets really spotty out here, and it can take a long time. So it's just easier not to even fight that. If I'm going live, though, off the phone, just off my phone, which is more than likely what the pop-ups will be, it's a little bit easier. It's just a lot harder for this old man to read anything, to see anything with his eyes. Right? Yeah, little sour cream as well in the mashed potatoes. Right, now, somebody's really wanting some mashed potatoes. I like it. I'm looking outside. I wonder if he's going to come in. Ward just pulled into my yard. Any instant Idahoans and Denny Moore stew. Nice. Just reset the game and start a new one for 3 new lives. Joseph, thank you, my friend. It is great to see you. Glad you can make it today. I hope you have a great week. We've only got, what, like maybe 10 minutes left, 12 minutes left? Yeah, he's coming in. We're going to see Ward here in a second. Yeah, it gets busy, right? It gets busy. Ward!
Ding dong!
Ding dong! Ward's here! Everybody, Ward! Ward! Everybody!
Mike, this is the only YouTube channel you'll ever see me on.
Well, I should do that. I should just do a live with Ward one day. Just live with Ward.
No.
You did the live with me. One of the first ones I did in the cabin.
Did, yeah.
You did the absolutely first one I did in the cabin with you. Yeah, when we're sitting underneath the scaffold
right.
for that. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
That was a ton of fun. Derek, how you doing, my friend? Glad you can make it today. Ward comes bearing a dish of mash. No, Ward comes bearing a Corona.
And if anybody wants to donate,
to his Corona fund.
Yeah.
Nice. Yoda is here. Yoda has arrived. Nice. So, folks, anything else you got for me? Any questions? Any comments you got? Anything I can answer before we got to go here? Because we're looking at, I don't know, maybe 5 minutes, 8 minutes left to go of the live. I'm doing great, Derek. Thanks for asking. Add onion chip dip to Idaho instant potatoes. Ooh. Really? Oh my God, Sue. Because, hang on.
You got it?
I'm old.
Wow.
Because, Sue, two things I am never out of in my house is Lipton onion soup mix for the dip and Idaho and potatoes.
Just like you, Robert, I have a cocktail.
Nice. Well, that's right. Yeah, usually Robert's got a cocktail when he's live.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
he does.
Oh, that sounds so good. Now I'm going to have
Hey,
to try
Art.
that. I am going to have to try that. Oh, there's Art. He must have got where he's going. Susan, what's happening? Awesome to see you. Looking forward to our trip. We're going to be doing some deep fried clams. We're going to be doing some clam chowder clams. Oh my God, it's going to be good. It's going to be yummy. You still happy with the ladder? Or are you going to put something else eventually? I don't know. I might upgrade the ladder to something nicer. But I don't have any problem going upstairs right now. A few more years, it might be a little tough getting up there and getting to bed. But for right now, it works fine. It's nice because I could pick the whole thing up and move it out of the way if I want to. Not that I need to right now. Steve G, come on, don't shortchange us now, Sean. Ward will be there in 10 minutes.
Right.
Did Ward bring enough for the whole class?
Hell yeah.
He always does. He always does. Right? Robert's going to try it tonight. I might actually too. That actually sounds like it could be dinner. That with a couple of eggs over easy could be dinner. She saw it. Oh my God, perfect. I am the biggest fan of onion dip. And I will buy the container of sour cream and I'll make the onion dip, and it's all I could do. And I know that the best onion dip is when you let it set for a while and it stiffens up. It's all I could do to let it get to that point. And I just will devour the entire container. Oh, what's happening, the man on the street? Good to see you, brother. Nanny Code Acres, thanks for joining. Awesome to see you today. Clam fritters. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of things we're going to be cooking. That video is going to be clamming and cooking, or that whole video will be clamming, and the video after that will be all cooking.
Right.
Henry Leslie, Vermont. Awesome to see you. Glad you can make it today. Dewey UAVP. Awesome to see you. Awesome that you could be here today. You know, I thought of that, but it's not really in the way. It's more of what's in the way there is the couch. So when you see me kind of zigging, zagging when I went in that room, it's because the couch is in the way, which it's going to be moving here eventually anyway. He says, okay, I'll be down in 2 weeks for some, Ward. I've never tried Bison Brand. I've never even heard of Bison Brand. So now I have to look that up because the Lipton has always been my go-to ever since I was a kid. I've never seen the Bison. He's holding the kilt up. I've never seen Bison Brand, but that's interesting. I'm always willing to try something new. JD turned me on to Duke's Mayo. Everybody talked about how Duke's was like this incredible thing. And then when I opened it up, I swear to God, I thought I was eating Hellman's Best Foods. It tasted identical to me. So, I wouldn't have any problem with that. I always buy a bunch of those. I'm a pack rat when it comes to this. When the price is right in a grocery store, Sean's buying 5. I'm not buying 1. If I'm buying 1 and all of a sudden I realize the price is right, Sean's buying 5. Garage, me and Dip have a love-hate thing. Me too. Craig Porter, glad to see you, my friend. Glad you could make it today. Afternoon to you as well. Ruby, thank you very much. Have yourself a wonderful week as well. And the third video will be the eating.
Right.
Nice. I love French onion dips, but the chips give me immediate heartburn. Must be the oil they fry them in. I want to try making some of my own potato chips at home. And I've done it before with the kids, but I mean, ruffle cuts. So I will be picking up a mandolin, but that's a multi-purpose item for the kitchen because you use it for slicing, dicing, and all that stuff. And then I'm gonna play around with some different seasonings and see if I can't make my own potato chips. Onion dip, add to the gravy for Salisbury steak. Selena, I have a couple of videos where I show my way of fixing chuck roast. And the gravy is made from Lipton onion soup mix, gravy dip, or gravy mix, same stuff, and white onions and all the drippings from that chuck roast. And it is to die for. It is unbelievably delicious. Matt, you're coming up again in July? Definitely. We'll go fishing, man. You come on up. We'll do some salmon. So we're going to be clamming on the other side of the inlet, and over there is no limit. But what Susan was telling me is the boat limit. So the captain has, they set the limit on the boat because we're obviously not the two of us going over there. There'll be, I think, at least 6 people going over there. So the limit is 10 gallons per person coming back. So, which is 10 gallons of razor clams.
That's a lot.
That's a lot of clams. That's a ton of clams, and they should be huge. They should be big sized. It's a Buffalo original. We have some wonderful food. Oh, nice. See? No, we don't have a Wegmans up here. They stock it. But I could probably look online. I bet you I can order it online. Yeah, Steve, I'm thinking that because when I grabbed the jar right away out of the package, I said, because I get people that send me stuff like this all the time, and I love it. But I pulled it out and I go, put it right next to my Best Foods, which is Hellman's. East of them or west of the Mississippi, Hellman's is called Best Foods. So I put the jars side by side and I go, the jars are identical. The lids are identical. The difference is this one's blue. This one's yellow. When I opened them up, they looked identical. They smell, and they tasted identical, which means I loved it because I will not buy any other mayonnaise besides Best Foods, but now I can buy Duke's too. Deb, welcome. Glad you can make it. Finally caught alive. Almost missed it. Got busy making bread for today. Did a batch of cookies. Yum. Nice. I like it. Derek wants to know how the kitchen's coming. Well, no updates on the kitchen at all since I did the counter and I installed the cabinets. So I'm waiting on a couple of things to show up, and then there'll be another big jump and improvement in the kitchen. But for now, I've been, like I said, Friday, I spent most of the day outside doing outdoor work. And thank you very much. It is awesome to see you. Hope you have a wonderful day. I thought about doing a set of stairs like Russell did, but I don't have anything above here, right? So Russell's pull up and close. So mine would just pull up and sit in the air. And again, I'm really satisfied with that ladder. It's not a big deal for me.
He built a great ladder.
Robert, now I want to go clamming. Dude, the price is awesome. It was either $195 or $200 per person per day. And that's everything, right? So that's the boat over to the other side of the inlet. You have to wait for the tide to drop out. Then you're clamming. Then you get back on the boat and wait for the tide to come back in. So it's an 8-hour day for $200, and then you're going to get clams no matter what. So it's a great deal. They should come with an iron glove that you slide your fingers into so you don't take your fingertips off, because Lord knows I have. John Feeney, have yourself a great week as well, my friend.
You too, John.
See, I didn't notice the difference. It has a touch more vinegar than Hellman's does. Both are good. I like them both. All right, folks. We're out of here. Thank you guys very much for joining me. As always, greatly appreciated. Thanks for watching the videos. Thanks for sharing your day with me on a Sunday. We shall see you again next week. We got 2 more of these before they're done for the season. I hope you have a fantastic week. And that's about it for me. Ward, say goodbye, Ward.
I just wanted to say hi. Goodbye. Later.
We're out, folks. Talk to you later.